Hey there everyone, and welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. So on today's video I wanted to do another in my series of wishlist videos. Now if you've watched any of my others, you know that I'm pretty much focused on Arcade 1-Up and machines that I would like to see come from that company. Well, today I wanted to take a slightly different approach. Again, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I have actually pre-ordered one of iiRcade's new gold edition cabs. As a matter of fact, I'm pre-ordered the Space Invaders one, and I'm waiting for it to come in. Now, I ordered mine a little bit later in the pre-order process than some other people, so I have not gotten my email yet on shipment. I expect mine to be in the second half of the shippings that are going out, so towards the end of this month or early next month. And again, this is August when I'm shooting this, so early August, late August or early September when I plan on getting that. But in the meantime, I wanted to do a wish list video focusing on iiRcade. Now, iiRcade does have a lot of great games on it. A lot of people are looking for some more AAA titles, what people like to call bangers, on it. But if you really look at what the game store has, especially for a newbie like myself who doesn't have any of the games yet, there's a pretty good list of arcade games on there that I'm looking forward to playing. Now, one of the companies that iiRcade has a partnership with and has several games on there is Irem. Irem was very prolific during the arcade scene of the 80s and 90s. They made a lot of classic games, like I said, some of which are already on the arcade, but there are some that they don't have yet. So what I wanted to do in this video is take a look at some of those classic Irem games and just kind of pay tribute to some of the ones that I would love to see come to the iiRcade system. Now, whether or not they ever do, we'll have to wait and see. But these are ones that if they come, I think these would be great additions to that machine. As always, if this is your first time checking out the channel, be sure to hit that subscription button. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video. Give this one a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you want to be part of the conversation on this. And especially let me know what you think of this list ultimately and what games I didn't include, because there are quite a few and I didn't want to make this a super long video, but let me know which ones I didn't include that you would love to see from Irem. And we will get started right after this. Alright, let's jump right in with the first game, and this is Kid Niki Radical Ninja, a game I probably remember more from its time on the NES than the arcades, but definitely a classic game. The plot goes like this. One day in feudal Japan, Kid Niki, the most radical of ninjas, is training at his ninja school. Suddenly, a passing bird is struck down by an arrow and lands at Niki's feet. Attaches a note explaining that Niki's girlfriend, Princess Margot, has been kidnapped by the evil stone wizard. With the cry of "We'll help you," Niki bursts through the wall of his school and sets off on his quest to save Margot. Now, this is a great, fun, side-scrolling, platforming type game. Was originally released in the arcades in 1986, and I think it would be a great addition to the iiRcade system. Now, one thing to note about this game is while it was developed by Irem, it was published in some areas by Data East. Now, while we know that iiRcade does have a relationship with both Irem and Data East, that should not be a problem for them, so fingers crossed that one day this makes it to the system. Alright, next up we have another classic side-scrolling beat-em-up from Irem, and this is Vigilante, originally released in the arcades in 1988. Again, this is another one that while it was developed by Irem in North America, it was actually published in the arcades by Data East. Shouldn't be a problem for iiRcade because they do have a relationship with both companies. Now, this game does take place in downtown New York City. The game's plot involves a lone professional martial artist who becomes a vigilante to fight an evil gang ruled by a man known as the Giant Devil in order to protect his turf and save a female hostage named Madonna, how more 80s can you get, who was kidnapped by them. This game is considered a spiritual sequel to Irem's earlier Kung Fu Master, and just a classic of the arcades, and I think it would be a great addition, again, to the iiRcade system. Alright, moving on to our next game. This is another one that was released in 1988, and this is Ninja Spirit. In Ninja Spirit, you take on the title role of the ninja Tsukikage, as you journey through 7 stages varying from woodlands, wastelands, swamps, temples, and cliffs. Each stage begins with the player slashing his way to the end until he confronts a level boss. Now your ninja is always armed with his trusty katana, which can be used to attack in any direction, and there are additional power-ups that can be gotten along the way, including one that lets you have shadow ninjas fight alongside you. Now, considering that iiRcade has released games like Legend of Kage, this one, again, seems like a good fit and right up their alley. So, fingers crossed that maybe one day we will get this on the iiRcade system. Alright, and we all know iiRcade loves their shoot 'em ups, so why not add X Multiply to the list? X Multiply was released in the arcades in 1989, and it is another side-scrolling shooter very similar in look and gameplay to R-Type. Now, like I said, this game is very reminiscent of R-Type, but instead of the Force Pod, the main power-up apparatus takes the form of 2 flexible tentacles. The tentacles are invulnerable to all enemy attacks and can be positioned with careful maneuvering of your ship, the X-002. The game centers around an unusual alien invasion against a colony planet in the year 2249. The aliens themselves are microscopic creatures that invade, infect, and kill the colonists. Scientists have developed the microscopic fighter X-002 and put it into the body of a person who has been invaded by the alien queen. So like I said, we know Irem is very big on their shoot 'em ups, including side-scrollers like this, so fingers crossed again that this is one that makes its way to the iiRcade system at some point in the future. Alright, so how many of you are fans of Arcade1Up's Golden Tee? Maybe the original, if not the XL. Let's not get into monitors in this particular video, but let's just talk about the game, huh? Golden Tee is definitely a fun game and a staple of arcades and bars alike, and this is Irem's take on a golf game major title. This was originally released in the arcades in 1990. And it even had a follow-up in Major Title 2 Tournament Leaders, which, if iiRcade was going to get these, hopefully they could at some point get both. Now, I think it would be great to put a game like this on the iiRcade to compete with Arcade1Up's release of Golden Tee. Now, I do believe in the arcades that this actually did use a joystick setup, but who knows, with the addition of add-ons for the iiRcade system, maybe at some point we could play this with a trackball as well. But again, like I said, I think to try to compete a little bit with Golden Tee on the Arcade1Up, if iiRcade could put Major Title and Major Title 2 on their system, I think people would really enjoy them. Alright, and here is another side-scrolling beat-em-up for you, and this is Undercover Cops, originally released in the arcades in 1992. And this was Irem's real first attempt at a modern beat-em-up. And in it, players control the City Sweepers, a police agent-like group who fights crime by taking down thugs in New York City in the year 2043. Now again, I said this was released in 1992. I don't know if this ever saw a North American release. That is when it was released in Japan. So if iiRcade could bring this over, it might be a first for North America, which would be fantastic. It has a great look and feel to it. It is multiplayer, so whether you're playing with 2 people on the same system or online, if they can add online play to it as well, I think this would be a great addition and a really cool looking beat 'em up for the iiRcade system. Alright, back to iiRcade's bread and butter with side-scrolling shooters, and this is R-Type Leo, the last of the R-Type games released in the arcades. This one was released in 1992 and is actually a spin-off of the R-Type series. In this game, you take control of the title ship Leo and travel through the man-made mechanical planet Eden to destroy its supercomputer core major. Now, this game was originally conceived as its own game before Irem kind of took over and decided to make it an R-Type game. Well, considering that, again, iiRcade has all of the other R-Type games on their system, adding this one I think would be a fantastic game for them, and it would just complete the collection of R-Type games. So if you are into these side-scrollers and the R-Types in particular, I think having this one would just be fantastic. So hopefully one day they can add it. And again, this is a 2-player game, so with the online play options, again, you know, I think it would just be a great addition. All right, you say you want Street Fighter. You say you want Mortal Kombat. Well, have I got the game for you? And this is Superior Soldiers, originally released in 1993. And it is a two-player fighting game, again, in the genre of games like Street Fighter. So iiRcade really doesn't have enough of these fighter games on their system, so I think having this would be a fantastic benefit. I will admit that I don't know a lot about this game in particular, but it does look kind of cool. It does look like it's got some fun play mechanics. Definitely plays off that Street Fighter kind of feel to it. And yeah, hopefully we will see a game like this show up. And again, hopefully it will get online play support as well. All right, and I'm going to finish things off here with a game that I know a lot of people have been talking about and clamoring for. I have seen mention of this game many times on forums and Facebook groups, and this is Ninja Baseball Batman, originally released in 1993. It's another side-scrolling beat-em-up, but with a real cartoony feel to it. And again, just I think a lot of people would love to see this game come to iiRcade. Now, the cool thing about this game is it does allow up to 4 players to play simultaneously. So while you could get 2 players to play on the same cabinet, having online play and allowing for up to 4 people to play, I think would be just a huge addition. And there's not too many games on the iiRcade system that can say that. So here's hoping one day we get Ninja Baseball Batman on the iiRcade. Alright, and before I wrap this up, I just want to give an honorable mention here because I know people are going to be screaming throughout the video, "Where's Moon Patrol?" Well, here's Moon Patrol for you. Moon Patrol was released in the arcades in 1982, and again, I know people would love to see this game come to the iiRcade. There's just one little problem with Moon Patrol. While Moon Patrol was developed by Irem, it was published in North America by Williams Electronics, aka Midway. And I believe Midway does still hold the rights to the license in North America on this. So unfortunately, I don't think, while I would love to see this come to iiRcade, and I think it would be a perfect fit for iiRcade, I just unfortunately don't see it happening. We're more likely to see this on maybe a potential Midway legacy from Arcade 1-Up at some point. But again, I don't know where the licensing stands considering the developer was Irem and Williams or Midway was the publisher. But I did want to just mention this game because I know a lot of people bring this game up all the time. And yes, I would absolutely love to see Moon Patrol come to the iiRcade. I just don't know if the licensing would allow for it. I'm going to just keep my fingers crossed and hope that maybe I'm wrong and maybe they can work it out sometime. But there you go. That's Moon Patrol. Alright everyone, there you have it. That is my list of some games created by Irem that I would love to see show up on the iiRcade system. Now, pretty much every one that I mentioned, I believe is doable, certainly from a licensing point of view, if not from a hardware point of view. I don't know when you get into some of the later games, like Ninja Baseball Batman, if the system can handle it, but I really do think it can, considering some of the modern titles and different things that we've seen. I think that they can handle just about any game that I put up there. Again, will Moon Patrol ever make it to the iiRcade system? I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird, again, it's one of those weird licensing ones where you have one company developing it and one company publishing it. So fingers crossed that at some point we can get to see that one. But hey, leave me some comments below and let me know what you think of my list. Did I miss your favorite Irem game that's not on iiRcade? If so, let me know what it is, all right? I would love to hear from you guys. Like I said, I could have made this about every Irem game out there, but I didn't want to put an hour-long video out for you guys to have to sit through. But I hope you enjoyed my curated picks, all right? That's it for this one. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Take care.